Hello everyone. So welcome to my lecture. So in this lecture we are going to start the new topic, that is algebraic expressions and identities. So we'll be discussing the introduction part of it in this particular lecture. So let's start with that. So first, basically what and all we'll be considering as our algebra. So it's nothing but like what and all terms we'll be having, terminology, what is the definition of it. So everything we'll be discussing in this lecture. So we'll start with the first one. So algebra can be considered as a generalization of arithmetic. So where we use letters in place of numbers, which allows to write rules and form in a general way. So that algebraic expression is nothing but we, instead of using a numbers, it's nothing but we'll be using some letters and representing it. So for that we are having some general rules and it will be there. Right, so for that algebraic expression we are having some basic terms which we should know, which are nothing but the following they have given. So here the first one is a variable. So what is actually a variable? So a variable is nothing but it's a quantity that does not have a fixed numerical value. So by the name itself it's a varying. So it means that the number, the variable, it actually doesn't have any fixed numerical value. It will be keep on changing. So this variable is nothing but represented by our letters that are nothing but x, y, z, u, v. So you can take it any way. So we actually represent letters by this variable, right? So the thing you should remember is our variable doesn't have a fixed numerical value. And the next term we are having is constant. So constant is nothing but a symbol which has a fixed numerical value. So variable, it doesn't have a fixed numerical value. For constant, it will be having a fixed numerical value. And the next one here we are having is a terms. So terms means if you see this example, if you see this expression 3x plus 7, which are actually formed by two terms, that is our 3x, that is a product of 3 and x, and then adding it to the 7, right? So these parts of expression, when we are adding them, so those separate parts are nothing but called as our terms. So the parts, so you can see 3x is one term and 7 is another term. So we can even say any expressions which are actually joined or are combined using any of our properties like sum or difference. So those terms are called as our algebraic terms. Right, so in this expression you can say 3x is one term and 7 is another term. So the next one here we are having is algebraic expression. So till now we have seen our variable, constant, terms and everything. So now let's get into our basic thing, that is our algebraic expression. So algebraic expression is nothing but when our variables and constants are combined with the help of our mathematical operations that are nothing but our addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, we'll get an algebraic expression, right? So the thing we should remember is our variables, constant and everything, when they combine using our mathematical operations like our addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, we end up getting an expression that is nothing but our algebraic expression. So that is all our basic terms, and apart from that we are having our factor of a term, right? So for each of the, as we have seen, we will be having some algebraic expression, but for each expression we can try to reduce it further in terms of some factors. So we can write that. So for that let's consider an example or an expression of two terms, that is 9y square minus 8x. So this has two terms which is nothing but 9y square is one term and minus 8x is another term. So if you consider the first term, that is our 9y square, that can be a product of 9y and y, right? Which means here we can say that our 9y and y are nothing but our factors of term 9y square. Similarly, if we consider our minus 8 into x, so this term, this is actually a product of minus 8 and y. So we can say minus 8 and x are nothing but factors of the term minus 8x, right? So which is nothing but a term is actually represented as our product of its factors. We know what is term, and then a term is actually represented as product of its factors. And the next we are having is the important one, that is our coefficients of a term. So we know that we'll be writing our variables using our alphabets, right? So when we are writing an algebraic expression, it actually expressed as a product of its factors. So that's a basic thing, right? So these factors are nothing but they can be variables or else there can be constant numerical values, something like that, right? So in that, the numerical factor is called our numerical quotient or else our coefficient of the term. For example, we'll take the same example of our factors of a term 9x square minus 8x. So here 9y square is a factor and x is a factor. So these two are two separate terms. For the term 9x square, if you observe, the numerical factor is nothing but 9, which means 9 is a coefficient of the term 9y square. Similarly, if you see 8x minus 8x, so here minus 8 is a numerical value, that is our numerical coefficient of the given term of the term x minus 8 into x, right? So these are our basic terms which we will be using in our algebraic expressions, the very basic ones. So now let's see our types of algebraic expressions. So here we have already discussed our term. So you know what is actually a term defined by, right? So here we are having our types of algebraic expressions generally based on our number of terms. So based on our number of terms. So here you can see an algebraic expression that has only one term is called a monomial. An algebraic expression that contains two unlike terms is called binomial. An algebraic expression that contains three unlike terms is called a trinomial, which means when we have a single term, that particular algebraic expression is called as a monomial. When we have two unlike terms, then that particular algebraic expression is a binomial, and we have three unlike terms, that by algebraic expression is a trinomial. So these are our types of algebraic expressions based upon our terms, that is number of terms which are present in the expression. So now we have seen our basic introduction part to our algebraic expressions and identities. So now let's see few questions here. In the following expressions, identify the terms and coefficients. So if you see the first one, 4x plus 3y, the terms here are 4x and 3y. So these are two separate terms, and for the first term the coefficient is 4 and here the coefficient is 3, which means a numerical factor. So if you observe the 3xy square minus 4x, the terms here are 3xy square and minus 4x. So here the coefficient is 3 and here the coefficient is minus 4. So similarly, if we see the next one, 3p square q plus 7pq minus 8pq square. So here we are having three terms, which means 3p square q, 7pq and minus 8pq square. So these are our three terms which are present in the given expression. So now the quotient here is 3, here the numerical value 7 and here the numerical value minus 8. So these are the terms and coefficient for the given following expressions. So moving on to the next question. In the following expressions, identify the terms and coefficients. So here the expressions they have given are different. So you have to see the same thing. So here our terms are 3x and 7. So the coefficient here is 3 and here it's a 7 only because it's into 1, so it will be 7 only. And the second one, 15y minus 23. So here it will be 15y is one term and minus 23 is another term, and here the quotient is 15 and minus 23 is a constant term. And the third one is 9y square minus 8x. So here the quotient, the terms are 9y square and minus 8x. So the quotient here is 9 and here is minus x. So this is how we actually, by seeing the expressions, we can write the terms and coefficients of the expressions given. Thank you.